Here quickly. I found a bag for these 100 ohm offset pots, and I'll just show you what I used on here. I used these on both the 55 and the 77. They're 3339S-1-101LFs. These are a sealed bottom pot. There are many little tricks to getting these pots in to these older units, and just to let you know, oftentimes the orientation is wrong, so you're going to have to drill new holes, you're going to have to reform leads, you're going to have to do a lot of things. But I just wanted to show you what I put in there and let you know that this is by no means an ideal pot for this. The only reason I picked this is because it fits some of the criteria, but to get to my point, this is a continuous turn pot, and this could be a real headache or a disaster for somebody down the road that gets a hold of this unit and doesn't know he's got a continuous turn pot in there. The pots that used to be made many years ago, this is something I recently noticed, always had real strong clicks on the end stops. These newer pots that I'm seeing that obviously are not a continuous turn pot, but even so, the end stops on these are really weak on the clicks, and even with them, it's sometimes hard to tell when you're at the end of the pot. I don't know what's going on with the people manufacturing these pots, but what I'm saying is this: if you put one of these continuous turn pots in, I flagged it on top with red marker as a reminder to myself to not forget and overlook this. So if you put one of these in, you may want to take some resistance measurements on the board. Obviously center the pot and adjust it to center before you put it into the board, and then after you put it into the board, take resistance measurements on both sides of the pot, write them down and keep them. That way, if things ever get out of whack, you can just adjust it right back. You got a reference point. I think I'm being redundant. I think you understand what I mean. So right there, real quick, is our offset pot on the left, 100 ohm, and a 470 ohm DC balance pot on the right, and that worked out well. Sometimes you have to reform these leads. The orientation is wrong. The pot faces the wrong direction. You got to bend leads, and a whole bunch of little tricks that would take forever to explain. And I want to hit this real quick because I like to try to give all sides of the story. When I make a statement to somebody about something, I like to be able to try to back it up and show you the ups and the downs of doing it. So when I tell you I put a 100k ohm pot in this, I want you to understand that there's always repercussions to doing such a thing. Yeah, the pot's going to work, but since electronics is just such a diverse thing, there's always implications. So I wanted to let you know that when you put the 100k pot in, if you were to choose to do that, you can expect some things to shift. And the first thing is your loudness. The capacitor that's hitting your loudness tap is not going to be high enough anymore. You're going to have to bump that up, and I don't have the schematic in front of me, I don't have the part numbers and all the details, but just to let you know, you're going to have to change that. Another thing that probably should be changed, but I did not change it on this, for a whole other road I'm not going down because there were some base changes made that kind of offset this, is your low filter switch is going to shift frequency, because you're working into less resistance than you were before. It's not that big a deal. It was a 150k pot. I measured this one at 128k. So you're going to be working into a little bit lower impedance with the capacitor that's driving that volume control. And I'm certain at this point there is one. I just don't know what the number is off the top of my head. But in order to put this back exactly where it was before, you would have to increase the value of that capacitor to get the same exact roll-off frequency on your low filter. I did not do it as I stated on this one because there were some other changes that kind of offset it. But just to let you know that things are not always completely cut and dry when you make changes. Always expect one change to create another change. But it was certainly well worth it for me to put this 100K pot in here and get the old one out and done away with. So I just wanted to add that. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that I was able to help you in some way. Have a nice day.